Today I would like to speak Chinese, but my Chinese is not good and... Wait, I cannot do this part. 大家好，今天我很荣幸能在这里演讲。I was not nervous, that was just a joke. But wait a second, did you notice any difference in my attitude? What was I missing at the beginning? Did I give you a good impression? Coming up here on this stage and talking in front of 500 people looks like a huge challenge. But you see, it's not so hard to try. You just need to have courage. Who is this foreign girl? What is she doing on that stage in China? What is her story? So let me go back to a few years ago when I was a little girl. As every other kid, I had a big dream and a strong and specific goal for my future. I wanted to revolutionize the world. I wanted to do something, create something so that people would remember me. I somehow wanted to leave my own mark on the world. But what about now? Today, I'm 23 years old and I'm still trying to figure out how to reach my dream. But of course, I became more realistic about things and I realized that it's not so easy to be special. Because it always looked like there is always someone more special than me, better than me, who has more qualities than me. So how can I still make something important? How can I make the difference? Well, today I'm here to tell you what I've learned from my experience. That if you have courage, you will already make a big difference. In my life, I had to face a lot of decisions, and as everyone, I'm aware of my own fears and my own limits. But eventually, most of the times, I decided to go for the most challenging choice. So let's talk a little bit about some of my own experiences. In my last year of university in Switzerland, we have the great opportunity to go abroad and have an exchange for 1 year. I didn't expect that so many people out there wouldn't understand my choice. Some of my friends told me that if they were at my place, they would never have taken this crazy decision. Some would ask me, why did you go so far away, alone, so without anyone for help or support, and in a place where you don't even know the language or the culture? Why not going to another place in Europe where it's nearer, and not only by distance, but also culturally? You know, China is still very unknown for the Western population. So it was quite hard to make them understand that, of course, going in another place in Europe would have been such a more easy solution, but I wasn't afraid of quitting my comfort zone, and I just wanted to have a pure, brand new adventure. I wanted to understand and discover how life is in China, its fast-growing economy, its customs, its millenary history, its huge population. And now I've spent 2 years here in China, and I cannot be happier about my choice and the outcome of this experience. And then I arrived here in China, and I started to study every day for my business degree. But I soon realized that if I was only studying at the university, I would have missed a big part of what was going on outside of the campus walls. So I thought that I wanted to have a working experience, as I thought it was the best idea to learn about what is going on today in China and meet local people. And I did it. But this sometimes put me in a kind of conflict with other foreign students who took my similar decision and challenge to quit their comfort zones and come here in China. But on the other side, many of them show to have different priorities and interests than me. So many times, for instance, I had to tell them that I wouldn't be able to join for dinner or parties. But on the other side, I was using this time to organize a lot of events and projects, and which led me to meet a lot of local people and take part into local activities. And then this was not enough for me. My weekends were still free. So I thought, why not having some classes about the fashion industry? As fashion is my passion, and I wanted to expand my knowledge about it. So I did it. I found a school and I signed up for some classes going from fashion design to textile technology, and I even learned how to use a sewing machine and created my own garments. So what a satisfaction to be able to wear my own creations. And then, as I thought, as I'm here in Asia already, why not taking some time to go for trips and discover nature, landscapes, and ancient civilizations? There I go, flying from Korea to Japan, Indonesia to Thailand, Taiwan to Hong Kong, and then when it came the time of Chinese Spring Festival, why not spend it with a Chinese friend of mine and her family? So I went to her hometown, met all her relatives, shared the traditional food and the typical traditions. So going from exchanging hongbao to playing with fireworks in the garden. Another challenge I faced was regarding the language. A few months later, when I came here in China, I remember meeting that foreign woman. She told me she spent 3 years in China already. So I told her, wow, your Chinese must be so good. But actually, she soon confessed that ni hao was barely the only thing she could say. So when I asked her why, she told me, well, you know, Chinese is such a complicated and difficult language. I don't want to learn it. I don't want to try. It's just impossible. Yes, of course, Chinese is difficult, but it's the only way you have to communicate with local people and create some deep and strong relationship with them. So why not put some efforts and give it a try? Willing to overcome my own limits, I started to learn Chinese, which is a totally different language, but little by little, I now have a lot of Chinese friends with whom I can have real conversations. So that's just amazing. So, as I've told you, I've been here in China for 2 years now, and I'm really satisfied of all my decisions. It's so hard to imagine how my life would have been if I didn't decide to come here. What is sure is that I wouldn't have learned Mandarin, I wouldn't have met all these local people, and I wouldn't have this understanding of life in China and doing business with China. And whatever, the list is so long, but in other words, I would have definitely missed so many things. But how did I take all these decisions? My parents taught me that we cannot change circumstances, but what we can do is we can change our own choices on how to face them. But most of the time, we tend to have some fears which are either made up by ourselves or induced by someone else. And these fears tend to put some limits, some barriers to our own decisions, so that we would opt for a more familiar and easy solution instead of a risky, more unknown path. But innovation, creation, and progress don't come from easy decisions. They're the pure result of brave choices. I first tried to have enough determination and confidence in order not to be a victim of my own fears. Then, I need to focus and try to think about what is my goal, what do I really want to achieve. So which decision will go in the same direction with my objectives? And then, at last, I will try to find the best balance between risks and my own abilities. Don't underestimate nor overestimate myself. So So I would ask myself, considering my own skills, am I able to face the situation? How risky is it? How many chances of failure are there? And do I have a rescue plan in case this decision turned out to be a bad one? So if my goals are clear and if I strongly believe in them and I already prepared a rescue plan, then it's so easy for me to take a brave decision. But until now, I've only talked about courage, using courage for personal purposes. But we shouldn't only think about ourselves. Courage is such a strength that can be used for humanity. Last year, in summer 2015, here in China, I had the great opportunity to take part into a great project which is called Solar Impulse. Two pilots from Switzerland tried to achieve something that looks impossible. The first round-the-world solar flight using only solar energy and no fuel. So what they want to demonstrate is that we can use these clean energies in order to reduce CO2 emissions and save our natural resources and eventually improve the quality of life. Last year, they came in Nanjing for a few days. At that time, I had the chance to see the solar airplane and meet the pilots. And I was so impressed by how courageous these people were. Not only they came up with the idea of this revolutionary airplane, which is a real technology challenge, but they also had to overcome so many extreme conditions. To face tiredness, lack of movement and oxygen, and changes in temperature. So this airplane is not made to carry people. It's made to carry a message to the world. The aim is to affect governments and people. And I was so touched by seeing all these little Chinese kids drawing solar airplanes and asking the pilots a lot of questions because they wanted to become just like them. And watching them, I thought about this little girl with big dreams I used to be. But this girl has now grown up, but hasn't forgotten about her dreams. And she feels that all the efforts that she's doing today are well thought in order to have a better future tomorrow and getting closer and closer to our dream. So what I wanted to do today is to share with you my own experience. And I hope that you can continue to strongly believe in your dreams and every day fight in order to achieve your own goals. So don't let the world affect you and affect the world. Thank you.